why does cost of construction matter?
Well, that just think about it. The cost of construction today is very, very different than it was even 5 years ago. And not to mention, 10, 20, 30 years ago, depending on how old your home is. So it directly impacts that coverage amount, that dwelling coverage amount, because if something happens to your home, be it a fire, tornado, whatever the case may be, and you've got a significant reconstruction effort going on, that's going to cost, something way different today than it did even a couple of years ago. So you always want to make sure that you've got enough of that coverage in your policy to help you if something, sort of catastrophic happens to your house.
Exactly. And there are many, many factors that affect the cost to rebuild, right? But if you
Right,
want to just keep this simple, it's really boiled down to a couple main things. So the cost of construction material.
right.
So the cost of your lumber, the cost of drywall, the cost of paint, right? And then, of course, labor, the cost of labor, the cost of, wages today is a lot higher than what it
Yep.
used to be, right? And
And
those,
and those are skilled trades, right? So, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And so that just really is like the general, basic understanding of the two things that really drive the cost of material. But of course, what caused material to go up, Chrissy? Supply chain issues, right? Maybe
Yep.
there was a big tornado loss in an area and now everybody has to rebuild. So then
Yeah.
material is not enough when the
Short
demand is
supply.
higher,
Mhm.
right? Things like that. Even um, even immigration policy can affect, labor
Right, right, because
shortages,
labor
right?
shortages. Yeah, absolutely. We hear a
Yeah.
lot about labor shortages lately. Everywhere. I mean, every fast food restaurant you go in doesn't have enough workers to
Yeah.
provide service, and it's not different, certainly probably amplified in these skilled trades that our general contractors are subbing in and using to fix your home.
Yeah. So with all these moving part, it really, really affect the cost to rebuild the home. It's not as stable as it used to be, right? And especially if there's a lot going on in our economy, if there's a lot of catastrophic events happening in our country, that's really is going to affect your cost to rebuild. And so where insurance comes into play, guys, 'cause we kept talking about like, make sure your policy is enough. So if you have your homeowner's policy in front of you now, if you pull it up, or if you look at any homeowner's policy for that matter, the very, very first line that you're going to see on there is the dwelling limits, right? Or in
Right.
our industry, we call it coverage A.
Coverage A.
Right. So that dwelling, guys, is really directly tied into the cost to rebuild. Because a lot of time these carriers, insurance carriers, are required to use a standardized approved tool that can help you estimate the cost to rebuild today. Now,
Right.
with advanced in technology, they do the best they can, right? So based on how much
Sure.
things cost now, even down to like the cost of a nail, right? Or to the cost of a shovel, things like that. That's how insurance company is going to generate the minimum cost to rebuild your home.